We are pretty much bang on based off what we said yesterday. I had to go back and listen to it, but wow, that was close. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not a technical whiz or anything, but we've been pretty accurate the past few days, and so that's pretty impressive. Now, I didn't say it was for sure going to happen. I do not want to present this like I know what's going to happen in the market. It was just one of the options, and it was remarkably close, and I believe that was the option that, in fact, I was really leaning towards, depending on how the market started and what happened overnight, those types of things. So let's just go in to see what happened. What I do want to point out right away, though, look at this light blue line. This light blue line is the exponential moving average, the 10-day moving average, and we are pretty far from it right now. We've moved up pretty fast in the past few days. It doesn't necessarily feel like that because the pre-market jumped so high. You can see these kind of gaps almost. Not quite gaps, but so we are moving pretty fast, and look what happened last time. For example, we moved pretty fast. You had this update, which was pretty good. Then it jumped up the next day, and we dojied. It still didn't quite catch up. Then we had a huge update. We started up here, really far from the 10-day moving average, and we had to give all that back up. Now, it's not really a red day because we ended above the previous day. The next day, it dojied, allowing the moving average to come up, dojied a little higher, came back down, up, down, 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 really touched that 10-day moving average. Now, at the end of the day, we're still kind of on this uptrend, but without looking at any of the patterns we've looked at so far, I'm just saying we're moving pretty far from the 10-day moving average. So assuming we do go up tomorrow, well, that's going to be scary because how far up can you really go before you get too far from this that people get spooked and come back down to really either touch this 10-day moving average, move it past, and if we move past this 10-day moving average, if it's too far low, that might spook the market and think we're coming back down to these 370 and 369 level that we've been talking about for so long. So let's just see what's going on a little bit more. Actually, before we go to the 1 month, let's take a look right over here at this DMI. You can see the trend broke, the buying pressure moved above the red line. The red line is this trend indicator, and the orange is negative, so the red line was moving up, showing a trend to the negative. Now, it didn't move above 20, which is what we said was really the problem, and it was able, now it's broken, so this would be, from this indicator alone, kind of, I wouldn't say a buy signal, because the red line is not in the trend of the, it's not in between the blue and orange. The orange has to come down, the blue continue moving up, and the red has to turn up and really show above a 20 that we're trending in the positive direction before this really happens, because otherwise it could just trade sideways for a while and we won't really have a trend. So that's really important right now. So this is just showing you when a red line crosses this blue line that we're no longer trending down. Now maybe you say that's obvious, but that's how this indicator works. Now in terms of overbought, oversold, we had a nice move up today. We're not overbought yet. There's been other days where we've been overbought and continued, right? It was overbought here and continued moving up. So we're not overbought yet. And in fact, you can see over here, we had 2 days up here before we kind of had a little bit of a correction. And, you know, at the end of the day, obviously in the long term, it still went up. This is only a short-term overbought, oversold condition. But right now, we're not in that territory. If we have a big day, I would expect a reversal the next day. A, because we're far from the moving average, and B, because we're going to be overbought. So something to keep an eye on. Okay, now let's zoom in at the 1 month, and let's just see exactly what we were talking about, how we thought pretty much this happened almost to a T. Okay, so we have this channel. We ended off down here, right below this green line, and that's what gave me pause, because we ended off below this line, which was all the way from the peaks back here. I was just trying to draw a simple green line across all these peaks. I was a little bit nervous. We're outside the channel. We're below that line. Maybe that allows the market to move down the next day. Well, I said there was a chance that if we move back up into this channel, we're going to move fast and we're going to move up. We got a lot of room to move up in this channel, and that's exactly what happened today. Now, I didn't say it was for sure. I did say I was leaning there. As far as I recall, I said that. I don't know, go back and check yesterday's video if you like. But I definitely said this was an option, and I recall leaning that way. But like I said, if we move into the channel, we'll move fast. And I was wrong. I had thought that this peak would be a little bit of resistance, and you know, we blew past it. Now we did come back, you know, touch it once, but it was hardly resistance. Whoops, it was hardly resistance. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that. And not only that, I was a little surprised by this green line here, which is the peak over here. We moved by that pretty fast, and I was just amazed. I thought, wow, we got into this channel, we're moving up. Are we just gonna blast right past this up to 403 in one day? That would be insane. I really didn't think that was gonna happen, but we are moving so fast. I wouldn't say I was confident. I was just amazed. And oddly enough, we reached up to like 395-ish area. I don't know why up there, but maybe it's just the time of day. We got to 1 o'clock. And we started to move down outside of the channel. And it was almost, exactly like I said yesterday. I should have listened to myself that we're going to end around, I said 392. We'll find support there. And we ended, 393, 390, wherever it is. That's pretty close. That was pretty close. And my guess is, right now anyway, my guess is that it's kind of similar to yesterday, right? We shot up, well, maybe not shot up, but we ended below this line. And then a similar thing, we shot up, ended below this line. And look at this, a similar thing, we shot up and ended below this line. This was the starting of the day, shot up and then ended below. Nevertheless, you're kind of seeing this little pattern playing out here. So what's going on? My guess is people don't want to leave their money on the table, or some people don't want to leave their money on the table because they're scared about what news might come out in the evening that might rock the market. Well, maybe the 10-year will shoot up or something like that, and they kind of are willing and happy to miss that beginning of the market trading day that shoots up because they don't want to lose. They're too scared that things could come crashing down. That's how antsy I feel like the market maybe is right now. So that does not make me feel great, because if there's some bad news, right, we're either fundamental or not, we could move down, and we could move down fast. Nevertheless, if pre-market or market, if we shoot up, and the market really holds that once we shoot up into this channel, that's going to be a really good sign. Pre-market or at the market, we don't start moving towards this direction, that's going to give me serious pause. Now, like I said, we are still overbought from that 10-day moving average. Maybe we have to trade sideways a little bit. I don't know. But every time in the past, month maybe that we've left the channel, right, it's kind of, not always, but it's kind of really rebounded pretty quickly. Now, maybe that's because we were in this expanding triangle I was talking about. Nevertheless, we haven't really left the triangle so much, so maybe we're going to have, if we leave this channel for good, then are we really going to see some really quick speed down to 369? That would be scary, but definitely possible. So we want to stay in this channel. We want to keep moving up. And if I just move out to the 1 year, I just want to show you, we have kind of this expanding triangle over here. Well, look at this triangle I kind of found here. So we're going to see some resistance, because if you just draw a line across these peaks, we might really see some resistance around 403 if we try and get up there. And that's in line with our Fibonacci numbers that you can see we drew those way back here. And so it's a lot of things coming together. And if we have resistance up here, are we coming back down to touch down at this line? I don't know. We'll have to play with that by the year, play that by ear, or see what happens. But all signs are kind of pointing towards a 403, except, like I said, just purely not from the pattern. We're really far from this moving average. We're getting close to overbought. We're not there yet. We don't exactly have a trend to the positive yet. And this 403, I think, is going to offer some pretty strong resistance. Now, we could break out of the triangle and move and skyrocket. I'm just not so sure about that just yet. So that's what's going on there. If we take a look at the 10-year, let's just zoom in. We had, I wouldn't say necessarily such a great down day. In fact, I think technically we ended a little bit above where we started today. So let's just take a look, though. I want to show you this triangle we drew yesterday. Maybe it looked a little bit different, but not so far off from where it is now. And so maybe we have until Friday where we get to this apex, and then the 10-year might, now it could shoot tomorrow. That's totally possible. It could end the triangle early. But we might have some time until Friday, and then something's going to happen. Either the people pushing up this interest rate have given up and it'll go down, or the people who've been kind of pulling it down, it might shoot up. I think usually people think triangles like this will break down, but in my honest opinion, maybe it's just waiting for some news, and depending on that news, it could just force it to break out one way or the other, and once it breaks out, the people over here who are expecting it to break out high will say, oh, I was right, I just timed it wrong. And so, once again, I said yesterday, I'm not sure that the 10-year follows trading patterns or if it's just fundamentals, but it's getting me a little bit nervous, and maybe it'll get other people a little nervous too. So if this 10 years spikes up again, and usually out of triangles there's a quick move either up or down, well, that's going to affect the S&P 500. So we'll have to see exactly what happens there. That's